I'm Julie Frediani, and let's see, I'm a teacher at Hollydale Elementary, and I live on 197th and Stark, and my son Jacob and his friend Forrest, and actually Chris lives with Jacob now. I don't know if you know that. All frequent the cafe and play disc golf, and I want to see it continue because just as mainly as a parent and as a parent of someone that struggles with his mental health, and it's been a good place for him to hang out and get to know Dina, and I felt like it's been somewhere safe for him.
I'm Linda Tribbett, married to Gary Tribbett, and we are Rockwood residents, and I'm excited about what the possibilities are here. I've known Dina for a while, appreciate her and the customer, and very interested in Rockwood. Currently working with Compassion Connect, we have the Adorn and Grace Bridal Shop, which is a non-profit bridal shop to raise funds to fight the war on human trafficking.
Yeah, I'm Luke Bowerman.
Go ahead, Shay.
Thank you. Thank you. Not from Real Gresham when I was several years ago a probation and parole officer from Multnomah County. And
my name is Dawn Watts, and I am a patron, friend, and a reason for Park Place Coffee to continue to exist. I actually have a networking group that comes here once a month. My day job is I'm a private investigator, and I also belong to, I'm a board member for an organization called Oasis, and we work with adult survivors of childhood sex abuse. And so coming into this coffee shop, I never knew that I would become friends with Dina, but I also didn't expect to care about this community as much as I do, living just way over on the other side of Powell, technically a Centennial neighborhood association, but really the whole community, you know, integrates and connects and affects all these things in Gresham. And so I think what Dina does here actually is really important. So when she asked me to come and listen to her pitch and hear what she wants to do, turning this into a nonprofit cafe, I think it's super important that we keep this place going in whatever way we can.
My name's Doug Watts. I'm Dawn's husband. I came along to be educated and support you.
Thank you guys. To clean up the park and take care of it's amazing before they go out, before and after, what they have accomplished. This down here is kind of amazing if you really think about it. This is a disc, what they call the Rockwood Winter Series. It's a disc golf tournament that they hold every other weekend all the way through the winter. We're talking over 100 disc golfers that come out for this event. What's been great for me is they started doing the registration here for Practice Golf. So it brings 100 customers in me at a time, and it's kind of building economy with the local park next door. And it's because of what we're in the middle of right here. You've got the park here, you've got the Russian church here, you've got the Hispanic church here, which is the primary Hispanic-speaking church representing the entire Portland metropolitan area. You have a drug rehab program, inpatient and outpatient over here. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of people that talk about the triangle and in Rockwood. And feel free to, you can always pull more chairs back too. And the triangle, and people say someday we'd like to see your coffee shop in the triangle. And the triangle is a great spot to develop, but what we have right in this spot is if you want to affect the actual people of the community, in the business community, in the triangle, you will get the businesses and you'll get that kind of integration, but you thought all the different neighborhood pieces, the actual personalities of the neighborhood, I think is really very much centered around this area that you can affect. And one other thing I wanted to point out, and something I picked up from here, is social service providers. Rockwood has a lot of social service providers that have to come into this area to provide services to kids and families. Between counselors, between state health and welfare workers, there's a lot of people that come in here and really use this place as their connection and a comfortable spot to try to build those rapports with kids they're working with families. They'll come in here, they'll play games to connect. So it's kind of a really important need in this community is have a place where those people can connect instead of just home visits. And then we'll just switch on to a little bit about nonprofit cafes. A lot of people are questioning what's the good about a nonprofit cafe. Number one, they're becoming a lot more common. I've learned by doing some additional research that it is a way for the future with various models in varying neighborhoods. And I believe we were kind of a nonprofit cafe just without the nonprofit status. And so I think it will be. Yeah. And it was really true. Some quick examples that are listed up here of ones that exist, and I know that Mike was talking specifically about one of these on the list. We can always go to websites where we want to look. There's Q Cafe in Seattle, and that's been there since 2002. They are on a broader scale, more than just the direct community. They started involved with the church, and they started really having a mission with dealing with direct trade coffees. But then they were, from what I understand and researched on this, they were able to grow enough profits that they could start giving profits to local and global efforts as well. They hold a lot of events there. They're a huge spot. And they collect and distribute blankets to the homeless on the side. Cafe Au Play just opened, and there's a typo. You can read their mission statement. I don't need to read everything for you.
That one's on Division at Franklin, on Division, and across from Atkinson Elementary. It was
gas
it was
station.
busted by the feds for being a meth distribution place, and the neighborhood got together and petitioned the city, and the feds ended up giving the property, which they take possession of, gave it to the city. The city is letting Cafe Au Play run the center.
Could that ever happen in the city of Gresham? You guys ever? You guys ever? Who has ever take property? I don't know. And then Tabor Space is where we met the first time to discuss the Rosewood Initiative. House with free rent in the Corner River Presbyterian Church, Brunswick Community Volunteers, coffee and food donation, and he said approximately 12 baristas volunteer that. And they've got a really nice big space too.
Where would they be from? Where would the 12 baristas be from?
This place has a lot of different ideas and opportunities for baristas here. And the disadvantage of this economy is the advantage of getting volunteer baristas. There's a couple things. I've had a lot of customers come in when they read that information sheet and say, I'm unemployed, I don't have anything to do with my time, I love this place, I'd love to learn to become a barista. I can put on my resume for volunteer community service. I've learned a skill that I can go out and get a job with, and I can potentially earn tips. You put all those things together, and there's a lot of people in that spot. Another thing is there's what's called Centennial Learning Center down the street. It's an alternative school. Long before we talk nonprofit, we have talked with them about their work experience classes, and actually talked about taking one day a week, Wednesdays, from like noon to 6 p.m. and have it be Centennial Learning Center's cafe. They would come in, they would bring the kids, they'd train the kids about running a business, they would learn how to barista, they would look and evaluate books, they would kind of learn everything about what it's like to start a small business. They receive grant money or money funding in some ways to do these programs as well, so they felt good that they could actually kind of pay for their own to handle this. One of the things that they have done since we've had that discussion is, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Snowcap down the street, Centennial Learning Center kids, same kind of concept, went in and run that place, take over the operation entirely. I can't remember if it's one day a week or when it is, when they didn't have staff otherwise, and just take it over and have made it function for longer hours. And they have come back again and said we'd be really excited expect to change if this turns into a nonprofit. I expect there to be huge benefits for this cafe and for the community. I honestly came in with this vision. The vision is here. You'll see it everywhere. You'll see it on the pictures on the wall and everything else about what I wanted this place to be. I will honestly say, being a sole proprietor, one-person owner, and not having enough of a income coming in here to give me the freedom to spend time organizing events and that kind of stuff. That's why you find me behind the counter. That's why I have batter on me all the time. Is I'm spending most of my time acting as an employee, and that has not freed this place up to have the opportunity to do the things it should be able to do in the community. So, for example, people come to me all the time, and they want to play music here, and they want to schedule events here. And I say, okay, well, if you want to play music on one Saturday, then let me take your number, because I need to get somebody to play music on all the rest of the Saturdays, so that then I can promote that we're doing music here, so then we can get an audience in to see the music, and pretty soon it goes from this to this big. And then, you know what, honestly, it has stopped happening because I haven't had time to coordinate it. And we could say, well, just play your music anyway, but you know what, if it's not going to bring anybody in, then it's not going to have the kind of effect I want this cafe to have. If we take this and turn this into a nonprofit, if we welcome the community to start organizing efforts here, it won't be Dina DiNucci's cafe, where everything has to go through Dina, and Dina has to organize all of it. It might have an organizer position in the cafe, but that's not going to be the same person that is working the rest of the time trying to take care of every detail of the place. So I think it can bring some additional benefit. And with that additional benefit, I expect this place will see a lot of growth and a lot more interaction in it.
I'm ignorant on the idea of a cafe, this type of a concept that you're talking about. Can you give us a little more information about how it's structured, how it comes to life, who's involved in it, that type of thing?
Anybody else want to take that one and does the basic nonprofit concept? Go for it, Dean.
I think, I haven't done this for a number of years, but I think the basic differences that we're talking about, and if anybody corrects me, that would be, perhaps more information, that would be great. But a nonprofit organization registers with the state of Oregon and is operated by a board of directors. And it can be 3 people or it can be more than 3 people. But it's not, a nonprofit agency is not owned by one person. Like now, Dina owns the cafe. She's the sole proprietor.